It was a time of great oppression in Israel. God's people had turned away from his ways, and as a result, they had fallen into the hands of King Jabin of Canaan. He, with his commander Sisera, led a... For 20 years the people cried out for deliverance, and God heard their cry. In this scenario, Deborah appears, a woman of great wisdom and spiritual discernment, called by God to be a judge and prophet. Deborah, under a palm tree between Ramah and Bethel, was ministering justice and speaking with God. One day, while she was praying, God called her in a special way. The voice of God, strong and firm, filled the room.
Deborah, listen to my voice. I have a mission for you, for the cry of Israel has reached me. They are suffering under the oppression of Sisera and his iron chariots. It is time to free my people. You...
Lord, your servant is ready to listen and obey. But how can a woman who has never held a sword lead Israel into battle? The army of Canaan is strong, and Sisera is relentless. What a plan!
He must take the man who will lead the army of Israel. His name is Barak, son of Abinoam. He must gather 10,000 men from the tribes of Naphtali and Zebulun and lead them to Mount Tabor. He will set an ambush against Sisera, tracing the Kishon River along with his iron chariots. But now, Deborah, the victory will not be won by the strength of 2 men, but by the strongest Mina. In the final honor it will not be Barak's, but rather a woman.
Deborah was silent for a moment, reflecting on God's words. She knew that as a woman in a patriarchal society, leading a man like Barak would be a challenge, but she trusted.
Barak, the Lord, the God of Israel, commands you to gather 10,000 men and go to Mount Tabor. He will deliver Sisera, the commander of Jabin's army, into your hands. This is the word of the Lord.
Barak, a valiant man, looked at Deborah with hesitation. He knew the power of Sisera and his army, and although he trusted God, fear and uncertainty haunted him.
If you go with me, Deborah, I will go, but if you don't go, I won't go.
Deborah recognized Barak's momentary weakness, but she understood that he, like many in Israel, needed a tangible sign of divine leadership. She knew that God had chosen her to be the...
I will go with you, Barak, but know that because of this choice, the honor of victory will not be yours. The Lord will deliver Sisera into the hands of a woman.
With that, Barak set out to gather the army, and Deborah accompanied him. Along the way, she continued to commune with God, seeking guidance and strength for the coming confrontation. When they reached Mount Tabor, the army of Israel took up position. They were outnumbered and without the iron chariots that Sisera had, but they trusted that God's word would be fulfilled.
At camp, Deborah went away to pray, and once again the voice of God spoke to her.
Deborah, the time has come. Tomorrow at dawn, I will deliver Sisera into your hands. Tell Barak to attack without fear, for I have already prepared the way. The Kishon River will be the key to victory.
Lord, your servant listens and obeys. The battle belongs to you.
The next morning, Deborah got up early and went to Barak, who was watching the enemy camp from a distance.
Get up, Barak. This is the day the Lord has given Sisera into your hands. The Lord has gone before you.
With that word, Barak and his army descended Mount Tabor with renewed courage, marching against Sisera's mighty army. As they approached, the sky began to darken, and a heavy thunderstorm began to break out. As chaos gripped the Canaanite army, Barak and his men attacked in force. The hand of God was clearly with Israel. The Canaanite warriors, disorganized and unable to maneuver,
Lord, as you have said, victory is in your hands. You are the God of hosts, and your word never fails.
Sisera, seeing his defeat imminent, abandoned his chariot and fled on foot, desperately searching for a place to hide. He found refuge in the tent of Jael, the wife of Heber the Kenite. Thinking he was safe, he asked for shelter, and Jael, with apparent hospitality, welcomed him. When Barak arrived at the tent, Jael came out to meet him and showed him the body of Sisera. The victory was complete, not because of the strength of the Israelite army, but because of the power and promise of God, who delivered the enemy into the hands of a woman, as he had prophesied. Back at camp, Deborah and Barak met, and together they raised a song of praise to the Lord. The song of Deborah and Barak echoed throughout the land of Israel, celebrating the great victory that God achieved.
When Israel's leaders took the lead, when the people offered themselves willingly, blessed be the Lord. From heaven the stars fought, from their courses they fought against Sisera. Blessed be Jael.
And so the land had peace for 40 years. Israel's victory was a living reminder that God is always with those who trust in him, no matter the circumstances. The story of Deborah. By this, Deborah proved that the Lord does not choose the strong according to the world, but those who trust fully in his power. Her obedience and courage changed the course of Israel's history and teaches us